for the next 20 to 30 minutes about performance measurement and how can we measure the efficiency and effectiveness of our people. We said before and yesterday already that there's increasing pressure from management to HR to say, okay, why are we spending all this money? What is there in for us? How can we increase the efficiency of our people? People are very costly. How can we get more out of them? And I would like to invite our guests. Please, if you would join me. And this is all very spontaneous. We haven't prepared any questions or so.
Okay.
So at any time, if you have a question to the panel, you can. Afterwards, we will also have a bit of a discussion with the audience. But first, thank you very much for doing this.
You're welcome.
That has to be seen, right? So I would like to start with you, Trudy. We heard from you how important it is to align HR strategy with the business strategy. And how can you use that to really increase the people performance? How do you do that, and why is that so important? And give me the microphone.
Thank you very much. Morning, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Okay, just in terms of that, Jutta, I'll respond as follows. It's important that the business strategy and the HR one are dovetailed together because it ensures a true partnership. It's about making sure that as human resources, we find our place in the team rather than sitting by the sidelines and shouting and screaming and getting surprised why no one is listening and we're not getting the results. It's about making sure that you are part of the team, you are playing, you are passing those passes and making the goals happen and celebrate with the team. And of course, in order to do that, it's about making sure that us as human resources understand the language of the business. Granted, all of us at this level, we were appointed because of our expertise in human resources, but it's about making sure that you understand other parts of the business, marketing, logistics, retail operations, making sure that when you're sitting around that management table, you are not just contributing on the HR side, but you are also contributing on the business side of things. And of course, it's also about forcing ourselves out of our comfort zone, because as human resources professionals, we're not very good at sharing information and measuring our effectiveness. If you think of your CFO, they are forever talking about the performance year to date, tracking it. If you think of your logistics director, they are always talking about the efficiencies and so on. We're not good at that as human resources professionals. So we need to make sure that we start using the HR analytics, making sure that we measure things, we track them. We make the business see the impact that we are having. We make them see the return on investment so that we don't get seen as a cost center, but we are seen as a true partner.
Thank you so much, Judy. I use this actually as well, then you don't have to switch back and forth. Is it on? That one? Yeah, okay. Just one question to everybody. How many of the delegates here are member of the senior board of their company? Hands up, please. That's shockingly not everybody. And I think there's a challenge that we have, that we're not always in the position to directly communicate. So what would you then... What's a senior board? Really the senior management, the top management, so managing director and all the level, so you would be part of that. What would you recommend to the people that are not sitting into these meetings directly to align their strategy nevertheless?
You know, I think for me, you can be impactful irrespective of where you sit. It's about making sure that you speak to your customers, you're making sure that human resources is top of mind, you share with them what is important. You also go and understand what keeps them awake at night. It's about how we package what we talk about. You know, if you go to a line manager and you say, I want to talk about workforce planning, they will tell you all the excuses in the world. But if you go to them and you say, listen, you are doing a good job in marketing, how do we make sure that the great stuff that you are doing now will be there in the next 5-10 years? So let's talk about sustainability. What is that legacy that you can leave for this company? And all of a sudden, that manager is interested because you've touched something that's important for him, sustainability. So you didn't come with the old term of human resources of saying, let's talk about workforce planning. So it doesn't matter where you are. It's about how you communicate the language that that manager understands.
Thank you very much. Which brings me actually to really the topic of workforce management, because that's a question that, for example, Spark International gets a lot from new partners. How to do workforce management, how many people do you need? Sometimes that's just per square meter per store. Obviously, it's not that simple, we wish it would. But looking into the future, I believe it's very important that you plan ahead. So not only being reactive with your workforce, but actually being proactive with your workforce. So Sam, how do you think is the best approach to do that, to work your plan for the future?
The future just creeps up on us every time, doesn't it? I think the business we're in, you know, we're a very mature business. Food's been around for a long time. That's why we're all here. So we're not into disruptive technology. We're not into particularly groundbreaking things. It's about doing every little bit better. So I loved Delo's photo of the guys in St. Peter's Square. And you know, rock concerts are like that as well. You know, in 1999, people would have had a slow song came on, they all put their cigarette lighters out.
Yes.
You know, Purple Rain comes on next week, and they'll all have their mobile phones, and they'll be doing that. So it's been the sign of the times that, you know, that these things move forward. So I think we have to try to not define the future too specifically, because we've got a pretty good grasp of the path of direction anyway. So it's about focusing on our customers. We're all customers, so we know what our customers think. We know what's good for us, so that should generally apply. So I think for me, it's about getting behind the customer mindset and what the customer's looking for. It's a bit, as Julie said, about what's in it, the why. You know, so from an HR side, we can help with the cost to sell. You know, there's a great dichotomy in that people are our greatest asset, but we want as few of them as possible in our business because they cost. So how do you make the most of what you pay for? So I think it's about benchmarking, which is why a group like this is fantastic. I've seen so many presentations that have reinforced what we do and have given me some idea about where we can make improvements. And it's also about technology, back to that. So the things, you know, as we go around some stores, I remember being in Austria 10 years ago and seeing electronic shelf edge labels. Frank at the time talked about credit card scanning, so contactless payments. And you don't see too many of those still about, but I think as the cost base goes up, Megan talked about living wage in the UK, that's really going to focus us on how do we actually maximise what we ask people to do, because what they can bring, as Keith has said, is the personal touch. You know, we shouldn't be asking them to scan things, things that can be automated. So I think there's generally a role for HR, really for me overlapping with the customer perspective, and as well as the sales and retail guys being the customer champion, the consumer champion, to try to do that.
Do you think that senior management will try to put a lot of pressure on us to decrease the number of people?
I think they should. I think they should always try to maximise sales margin versus cost, because I do as an HR person. I think we want to get the best value out of the resource we have. I don't think anybody up here would want to unnecessarily employ people for the sake of it, because that will lead to lack of activity, inefficiencies, people leaving. So I would expect any good CEO would be looking for that.
Well, that brings me then to the question for Raymond. So when talking to senior management like Mr. Kochmeyer and Mr. Reich and so on, so when you talk about your strategy, what
do you come across as sometimes their assumptions about human resources, and sometimes maybe even misunderstandings, because I love what you said too about different wording sometimes, just not speaking the same language, actually meaning the same thing, but still not really crossing over. So what are your experiences in that area?
As far as my boss is concerned, he's brilliant. But on a general level, I see that managers, they would say and they would agree that people make a difference always. But when they say it, they mostly think about them. The managers make a difference, and they are paid more because they make the difference. But when it comes to the normal people, to the workers in the stores and so on, I think it often happens that they don't appreciate that much people as we should. And all the things that were said today and the day before about human needs of being seen and appreciated. Humans are humans, and will always be, and it's the way how it works. So the idea that you pay money, the trade-off between wage and the return becomes to work for you, only works to a very limited amount, actually. So if you really want to get most out of them, you have to see them, you have to appreciate them, you have to look at them, you have to be with them, you have to some extent, you have to like them, actually, I think. Otherwise, they won't follow you. You were speaking about leaders and managers. So I think, and this is often underestimated, I think. So it's more that you see the figures, and of course you want to have to lower your wages and costs, and it's good, it's great. But when you are in the store and on the floor, you see how much difference really the relationships make. So I think it's the most important point I would point to.
Thank you. And I think it's a very valuable point that, what I said in my introduction, that as HR people, that we should really show the added value in figures as good as we can to the senior management, so they understand that the activities that we're asking them to support us with, that they're actually really good for the business and not just for the sake of being nice, or it really is for the sake of the business, and we're all in it together, we're all in it for the business to grow. So my question to you is then really, so how, and I know you've done projects in that area, and that's why I'm asking you that question, so how can we measure the performance and the activities that we do, that they increase the performance of the people?
Hello everybody. It's really a three-tiered approach. 3 is the magic number. So starting off with your training needs analysis, it's actually looking at training needs from a business perspective. What is it that the company needs to improve? And then also looking at on an individual basis as well. How can we help the employees achieve that, and what approach do we need to take? So just to put it into perspective, one of the projects that we recently worked on was revitalising our Sparkling Service project. So Sparkling Service is our customer service training module that we've got. It's a national initiative. It was a paper-based programme initially, and we wanted to apply the KISS theory and keep it simple, stupid, and make sure it eased the actual delivery of the programme for our store managers, because they spend a lot of time in the back office already delivering training. They're not trainers, they want to be in retail. So we wanted to make it into an e-learning product and to make sure that we actually achieved our business needs, which in this case was to actually improve our basket spend. So we needed to increase our basket spend and also increase footfall coming into our stores. We were identified as the second top well-known brand in the UK after Tesco, but what was recognised is that other competitors had started to exceed our performance in all areas of the business. So that was our training needs analysis. And then we went on to the delivery of the training, and to ensure that we actually made sure that the behaviour of our employees improved. And that's where we applied love. And love is very important. And we've been told about this a lot of times. So I want everybody to show me some love. Come on, bring me the love. That's it. We've got to show all our people love. Different ways, different cultures, but apply love to your employees because they want to understand why are you actually putting them on that training programme. What's in it for them? What are they going to get out of it? And something I learned from Raymond, thank you very much, after a few drinks of wine, is apparently...
I'm for the wine is
well, you're on the beer, but I was on the wine. Apparently there's only 0.5% difference in our DNA. So one thing that we have all got in common is we need to feel as though we belong and that we're loved and we want to do the best for our company, for our brand. Okay, so everybody, I challenge you, when you go back out the stores, show your love. And it's very, very simple in different formats. So it's about the delivery and how we could actually make improvement to the sales. And therefore the next stage, the final stage, is actually to monitor that. What was the business impact? How did we impact? And in this case, we actually improved our basket spend. How did we know that? Well, of course, before we started the process, once we knew what the training needs was from a business perspective and an individual perspective, we then actually took a group of stores from all areas of the UK, so under each division or RDC, and we sent out an independent company to analyse our performance, and they looked at every aspect of the business, every aspect of the customer experience. Before they even walked into the store, the appearance of the store outside, was it inviting? When they got in, what was the layout? What was the availability of stock? Were they greeted by our customers? Were they approached? Or did they have to run around the store to find a member of staff to help them? And then also the till point conversation as well, where the member of staff has got that opportunity, that final opportunity to increase basket spend. So we measured our performance on a national level, and then we put the training in place. And after the training, after 3 months, we then sent the same company out to do the same analysis. And from that, we measured our before and after performance and showed that there was a definite return on investment.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Liv. Did you also do customer service in addition to that?
Yeah, it was part of
Part of
the
that.
customer service module, yeah.
Okay.
So it was a paper-based system we implemented. So we included a till point conversation and upselling module into the sparkling service programs. It looked at all areas of sparkling service, and it also transformed into an e-learning product.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think it was also very good to see in Helene's presentation that you could actually show this is the store that actually did the sim training, and these are the stores that haven't, and you could clearly see the difference in sales. And as soon as we can relate our development programs and training to actually really sales increase or decrease in costs or wastage and having a better profit, then I think that's what we should communicate. There's of course the challenge of how do we communicate it to the management team and in what ways and what's the best way to communicate that. That would be my question to Helene, that how can we include maybe also modern ways of communication also to the staff of how they're performing and that they're performing well and that they're part of a great success story.
I think my answer to that is an old-fashioned way to start talking to people. And I think it's all been said that you have to have passion for the people, you have to love them, and you have to show that you take care. And it feels very stupid to say that because it's too soft. And I can't come to my boss and say, you have to love the people. And to say that, to say that to all the retailers. But that's what I think it is about. You have to show that you care. And if you care, you also show and share what you are dealing with. Because I think a lot of retailers, they don't share the numbers of the stores. They don't share how it all goes. They don't tell their employees this is better than last week, this is not good, how do we do, how do we perform better? So they don't really care about their employees to involve them in the stores and what happens in the stores. And in the management, we are too busy about the results, the numbers. We are very focused on all the hard stuff, and the hard stuff. Maybe you understand it wrong, but I think the hard stuff is the people. The hard stuff to change is the people, because you can change color, you can change numbers, you can change the stuff you put in yourselves. It's hard to change people, and I think that people needs to listen to you and to get something out of the communication. You have to be honest, because you leak what you think. So I think the old-fashioned way, talk and say care and show that you care. And
Thank you. I like that what you said about the change, and who was it? Was it you who said that change is always Hitler said that change is always somebody else? Yeah. And I'm a woman, and I try to change my partner millions of times. Guess what? It doesn't work. Never works. Did try. But what does work is to change yourself. So there's a saying, be the change you want to see in the world, and that is actually really true, because the only change you can make is, okay, I want this and this and this to change. Lead by example. You do it, other people might feel inspired, or they see the results and they follow. But it's obviously then their decision, their unconscious decision to make. You cannot force people to change. And I have that discussion with a lot of new partners, and they say, well, we have to change the culture. And the CEO is staring at you, and what he means is everybody else needs to change but me. Yeah. The fact is, the first person that needs to change is him, because it will drop down. Cultures, not bottom up, but top down. So that's always an interesting conversation that I'm having. But I think that is very important, and indeed you need to do that by good communication and talking. Yeah. Talking about soft spots, because I said it's like soft and that people stare at you. How important do you think is the whole area of well-being for the effectiveness and efficiency of people? Because there's loads of discussions about this well-being programs with management, and why do we have to spend money on that, and why do they need a gym or care facilities or this and that? So this is an open question.
Maybe think about that one again, back to Detlef's quote this morning. I think it was something along the lines of customers won't love a company until the staff love the company. So within Henderson's, we have been involved for a number of years with a benchmarking process, a company called Best Companies. So they manage mostly across the UK. And as most of you will probably have dealt with employee survey feedback and employee opinion surveys, they break it into themes. And so I've always worked, across all the companies I've worked for, I've always worked on customer satisfaction and employee satisfaction being intrinsically linked. But Best Companies had actually teased out over many, many years of research that on all the things that drive employee satisfaction, it's the aspect of whether the company is responsible. In many ways about environmental, but essentially about how they look after the team, and do they go beyond the give them pay, pay them when you should, too. It's about the connection, as Keith talked about. It's showing that you value the person, and it's not just about getting paid when you're not here. If you're sick, it's about making sure that you do as well as you can when you're healthy as well, and you get opportunities to do that. So that's something that we've done a lot of work. Emma has taken the lead on a lot of wellbeing activities within our own group. Within Spar UK, we're very focused on providing for all of our independent customers as well some wellbeing services through a company called Retail Trust. So we have an employee assistance program that's paid for by our retail guild. So that's there mostly in times of need, but it is there for developmental purposes. They'll give grant funding for educational programs as well. So as you said, it sounds soft, but you actually get to some very, very difficult hard issues when you try to work out how much money you need to do that.
think it also comes back to our first guest speaker on our first day. I mean, when you have top sporters, you pamper them, and they get massages and this and that, and everything is really designed for them to feel good and to have no problems, so they can focus on one thing only, and that is to win the game in the sport they play. And but we sometimes do treat our employees that they have to take care of whatever themselves, and we still ask them to perform. Raymond?
Actually, I think well-being is more, it's not so much about a massage, it would be wonderful, but I think it's more about empowering people. There are a lot of studies from great universities with great designs where they try to find out the effect on empowerment and on performance. And there's one actually I like. They introduced people to, it's about onboarding, and they had 3 settings. In the first setting, they just greeted them and told them what they can expect. In the second setting, they told them the values of the company and how important they are. In the third setting, they asked them to write down what they think they could bring in to the company. And then they measure the performance, and you'll find out that the third group did the best performance. So it's about empowering, it's about appreciating, it's about, I think that has more to do with well-being than the massage. And there you see the clear link between well-being in this sense, this crucial sense of well-being and performance.
Thank you, Raymond. And sometimes it's even basic just to provide the right tools for them. Sometimes we really expect them to clean the floor with a toothbrush, not literally, but you know what I mean. So we have to really empower our people, make sure that they have the setting that they require. So are there any questions for the panel? We have like 3-4 minutes left. Any spontaneous questions that you want to ask? I take that as a no. So thank you very much, and please give a hand of applause for our
Sorry, Lisa.
Yes?
The different question I think is to him. There was something about they changed the name of SPA into the local, like FIM. But does that mean they changed the logo of SPA?
No, that's just when we the opening hour. It was actually